Hey everyone, Dennis Caye here with Belize Islands Real Estate. Today's video is brought to you by Temi. Temi, thank you so much for buying me 3 coffees today. And I am so looking forward to our Zoom call this afternoon. We know we're going to make your trip to Belize and your eventual move to Belize a 100% success. I guarantee you, you're going to be blown away. But today's video is not about your move. It is rather about a question that has come in over the past few days from Paul. Paul asked me, do I have any regrets about moving to Belize, or is there anything I wish I would have done differently? So I had to think long and hard about that because, not everything went perfect with the move. There were a lot of challenges, and I learned a lot in the process. One of the things I learned is to not trust anything on the internet, or I should say not trust everything on the internet, because there was a lot of not intentionally misleading information, but just a lot of old info on there. Somebody put up a website, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, and the information is still floating around. So if you've come across that information, it's most likely outdated. And then there's just some plain bogus stuff floating around out there too. So what I learned is you just got to experience it for yourself. It's kind of a learning curve. Learn as much as you can, but then just work it out as it comes. But as far as doing anything different, I didn't have anything that I would have done differently. However, there are several things on my bucket list that I never got around to doing. So I'm going to share 3 of those with you now, as well as just 3 little things that I wish I would have done, which I am going to do in the future. So first of all, the 3 big bucket list items that I've never done yet in Belize. Now imagine this, lived there 2.5 years on the mainland, 11, 12 years full-time on the islands, and yet I never made it to number 1, the Blue Hole. The Blue Hole. Almost the number 1 picture that comes up on the internet when you type in Belize is the Blue Hole, made famous by Jacques Cousteau, visited by Sir Richard Branson last year. It's a famous place for divers and snorkelers. So why didn't I go? I don't know. I just never got around to it. So when I go back to Ambergris Caye, as soon as they open up, my number 1 thing after I land is head out by boat, snorkel that Blue Hole, and then the next day I want to see it from the air. So Tropic Air and Astrom helicopters both have tours that go over the Blue Hole, get some fantastic pics. So that's what I'm going to do as soon as I get back to the island. Number 2 is I never made it to the Mayan city of Lamanai. Now, there's a lot of Mayan ruins I've been to in Belize, but they're not all the same. They're very different from each other. And one of the largest Mayan cities on the mainland is in the Orange Walk district. It's a big city called Lamanai, and you can go there on a day trip from Ambergris Caye. There's tour companies that actually can take you by day. You leave early in the morning, go to the mainland by boat, go up the river, see the entire city, come back. You can do that, but there's also a great place called the Lamanai Outpost. So I think I'm going to spend a few days there, really get to know that part of the country, because I've never really explored much this Lamanai area, even though I've been to Orange Walk several times. And number 3, I never made it to the Mayan ruins of Caye in Guatemala. Now, those ruins are some of the most impressive ruins. Just go on Google, type in Caye, Guatemala, and you're going to see that these ruins are way back in the jungle, just so impressive. So what you would do is you would go to the Caye district, San Ignacio, and then one of the tour companies would take you over for the day. Or even better, you can see the ruins of Caye, but then go to some of the lakes like Lake Pitan Itza, and there's a couple other lakes around, and there are just amazing places to stay. And I regret that we never explored Guatemalan culture that much. We were in Guatemala, we did visit the place, and it was great, great food. Get those tall Gallo beers, those big 16-ouncers that tasted so good because it was so hot when we were there. But yeah, go over into Guatemala, spend some time around the Tikal area. It's absolutely beautiful from what I see, and unfortunately, it's number 3 on my bucket list. Haven't been able to do it yet. So those are the 3 things I want to do as soon as I go back. Now, just to throw a few more simple ones, there are some jungle lodges and some different places to stay on the mainland that I also never made it to. For example, Blackenau. Blackenau Lodge is one of Francis Ford Coppola's lodges. He's got, I think, 2 in Belize and then 1 in Guatemala. So I would like to hit them all. I've been to Turtle Inn. Turtle Inn is one of his properties down in Placencia. Gorgeous property. You have to go when you're there. If you can't afford to stay there because it's pretty pricey, then at least go there for lunch or dinner. Awesome place to eat, the Turtle Inn. But Blackenau is the jungle version of Turtle Inn. He's got just an amazing place set in the jungle there. I've been to other jungle lodges in the area, just not his. And so you hit Turtle Limb, Blackanau, and then go over to Lake Peton. I think it's Lake Peton, which has his other lodge there called, I think it's La Lancha or La Plancha. Google that, it'll come right up. So those are the things that I'm planning on doing. And I guess the reason I bring this up to answer his question is because even though we lived there full time, we experienced and did things that almost no tourist, even full-time resident, ever got to do. We went back in the villages and spent time with the Mopan and Caye Mayans. Yet, we didn't get a chance to see how they take the raw cacao bean and make chocolate. And even though I ate a lot of the chocolate, I never seen how they did that. So I want to get down there and spend more time with the Mayans. There's other things I want to do. For example, even though my wife and I speak Belizean Creole, because we were in that community for a while, I never really learned Spanish. And on Ambergris Caye, along with English speaking, they have a ton of people whose first native tongue is Spanish. So why didn't I take the opportunity? Don't know. Just never got around to it. There's other areas that I wish I would have explored more. And I guess I bring this up to tell you is that, look, Belize is so diverse. There is so much to see, so much to do, and you don't want to rush it. I mean, these people that come down, and I really feel for them in a good way, but they come down for a week or two on a vacation, and it's life-changing for them. They spend a week in the mainland in the jungles, a week in the islands, and then boom, they're back home in their normal 9 to 5, and they got these awesome memories of Belize, and that's good. But I really got to hand it to those who can come down and explore more, spend more time there, spend a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year in Belize, and just really get a flavor for the country. And then once you're there, let's say you have a place on Ambergris Caye, and I was talking to some clients yesterday. Let's say you buy a piece of land, maybe it's up on the northeast side or it's over by Secret Beach, but let's say you buy a piece of land and eventually you do have a house there. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, you know, I like this place. This is what, this is what I can afford to have. It's a nice area. But here's what you can do. Every time you come back down to Belize, you don't have to go back to the same house. You know, if you rent out the house, let's say even long term, let's say you are renting for 12 months, even longer, to the same people. Let's say you sign a long-term lease, so now your house is occupied. Come down to Belize, let what they're paying you in rent fund your trip to the mainland, or fund your trip to Guatemala, or other parts of Central America. That's the great thing, man. Once you have a property in a place, you can use that as a home base, but then you can also use that to fund other travels. And I think it's a great way to look at buying and investing in Belize. Buy and invest in Belize, not only so that you have an incentive to get there, your focus is on the country, but then use that investment to fund your making of memories, your dreams, your lifestyle, your exploration, and all that can become a reality. So anyways, long-winded email today. And thanks a lot, Temi, again, for the coffee. I appreciate that. Again, looking to help you guys move to Belize here in the near future. And we're going to make that a success, I promise you. Talk to you soon.